today we're doing jumping because jumping translates to power. Power and jumping translate to athletic ability, and your ability to be under control and powerful makes you a better athlete. So we want to start with how to jump, and then we're going to get into drills of jumping so that you can improve your jumping, so that you can become a more powerful athlete. Today we are going over the stance, we're going over the landing, and we're going over your arm swing so that you understand the mechanics of becoming more powerful, so you understand the mechanics of jumping better, and we don't overload you with too much information today, because we're going to be doing a 5-day series on jumping starting today. So you're going to want to check back tomorrow where we'll actually start to go over the drills of jumping and how to get higher, what we call your vertical. A test of power is your vertical jump. How high can you jump in a standing position? Okay, so whether you're at 15 inches now and you get to 20, whether you're at 25 inches now and you can get to 40, all of that is an improvement of your power output, okay? So let's get started with our technique, okay? Let's start by understanding what our athletic ready, powerful position is. So we do have the tape, which you guys have seen before because we talk about athletic ready a lot. Now, athletic ready is small variations for different sports, but for the most part, we're right here. Forward, slight forward lean, butt going backwards, feet underneath our hips or our pelvis. We're not too wide. We actually lose a little bit of our explosive power in this wide. Although some people go super wide for squats, we just don't have the same power capabilities. We can be strong and powerful, but we want to be explosive power, and our explosive power tends to decrease the wider our feet are. So let's say your feet are big toe, just right even with your shoulder. Okay, the outside of your shoulder is your big toe. So right underneath you. That's your power base. Then you're athletic ready from there. Okay? So your feet are directly underneath your body so that you're powerful and, importantly, you're balanced. Alright? You gotta be balanced to be powerful. And in order to jump powerful, you need to be balanced. Now, working with a lot of younger kids, we notice that their feet aren't really set a lot of times when they want to jump. And they don't land properly after their jump. So part of your focus needs to be on where your feet are perfectly and where you're landing, hopefully, perfectly. Because you don't want to land staggered. That's just not a controlled position. Because A, landing is where you get hurt, and B, being able to re-jump is almost as important as the initial jump, especially in sports like volleyball or basketball, where you need to get back up quickly sometimes. Okay? So, when you're jumping, make sure that you get uniform stance, and before you jump, make sure your feet are where you want them. It slows you down on your jumps, yes, when you're learning it, but once you have understood where you feel the most comfortable, boom, there are my feet right there. I don't have to watch it. Once I get that kinesthetic awareness, which we've talked about, your body will just know where you feel the most comfortable. Okay? So, to some degree, figure out that play of where you feel just the right level of powerful. Okay? Then, when you do jump, try to land in the same spot as you jump from, which is why you see tape marks around our studio, is because when we're practicing our jumps with our younger kids, we want to be able to land in the same spot. So we put tape down to say, this is where you're jumping from, this is where you want to land. All right? Makes it easier to understand if your feet are off when you have that target. Okay, so jump, land in the same spot. Jump, land in the same spot. That's the first part of becoming a powerful, good jumper, is understanding the base when you jump and the base when you land. The second part of being a good jumper is having a good arm swing. Your arms actually initiate the movement, and a lot of good jumping can get ruined by just trying to be here, okay? Initially, when kids are learning to jump, they jump like this because they're thinking about just their lower body and they're not initiating with the arms, with the hands, because as the arms swing backwards, the body sets in position. As the arms swing forward, the hips start to initiate forward, and a good, powerful jump is initiated with the hands to get the hips exploding powerfully. Your hips control your power of your jump. Because if I were just to jump here, I can get a good jump, but if I get a explosive jump, I'll be much more powerful with the use of my hips. A lot of times people think just dip into the ground and go. It's your hips that drive your power, okay? So arm swings initiate our hip swing, which hip swing gets us, or a hinge as it's called, gets us a powerful jump. The third thing that you need to focus on is landing like a ninja, meaning landing like you're not being heard. You're landing soft, not landing hard. They should not really hear you landing if they're in the gym with you. So if I'm landing, that's not landing like a ninja. Everyone heard it, everyone knows I'm there. You want to land soft so no one ever hears you there. Why? A, it's saving your joints. B, it's landing under control. You're landing balanced. You're landing in a good technique. And you are landing athletic ready, ready to go again. So I can jump and be ready to move. Be ready to move. Be ready to go in any direction because I'm landing athletic. I'm landing under control. If I land hard, I'm not balanced. So my first thing that I have to do is set and step to go versus athletic. Okay? So landing like a ninja helps you to land athletic or focus on landing athletic. Okay? That's the third thing. The fourth and last thing we're going to talk about today is actually using physics and one of Newton's law in order to jump more powerfully. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. A lot of times people think just jump by getting off the ground. Okay? If you can connect with your feet, your brain, and the ground, you actually want to push into the ground to then explode off of the ground, because that force into the ground reacts with a force away from the ground. So sometimes when we jump, we just think, hey, get off the ground. And we don't really apply that much force into the ground because we're too busy trying to get off the ground. You want to actually set and push and explode. Okay? It's a little tricky, and there is a belief in the system, because you have to believe in Newton's law, but it's there. You have to believe that pushing into the ground, you can explode that much higher. So you'll explode, you'll be balanced, you'll be athletic, you will be under control, and you'll become a good jumper. So those are the four things we covered today. All right? So, good base to start and land, athletic ready. Initiate with your arm swing so that your hips become involved. Land like a ninja so that you're saving your body and you're ensuring that you're landing ready to jump again and athletic. No one needs to hear loud noises of you landing improperly. And then lastly, use physics to increase your vertical by increasing the ability of pushing into the ground and letting that reaction help drive you away from the ground. Okay? So those are our four lessons for today on how to improve our jumping. Tomorrow we're going over drills. We're going to go over broad jump, jumping, vertical jump, and box jump techniques so that we can start to become a good jumper. And remember, jumping leads to power. A powerful athlete is generally a good athlete. All right? That's all we have for today. So you guys go out, be awesome, be amazing. Thank you.